Moose, let me talk, you will knock you out.
33 don't care 3 man. Go to them. I don't want you to know them upcoming new artists. Go to watch out. Go to watch out. Them stink like my money. By the way, I don't want you no knife. I only want you the river.
Me against shirt. Well, I gotta say, I'm doing all right. I don't have any classes tomorrow, so I am chilling here and I am ready to watch some collegiate R6. Ah, that is correct. very typical. Yes.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
The Chiba barrier is activated.
Wolf
Yeah.
done!
Well fortified.
Changing mag! Throwing F-notch!
Obviously, they're expanding out to cover the main areas that site needs to cover.
Setting a mine.
They've already gotten both main breaches. They're extending into rafters with a very interesting little rotation set up there. General play, setting up where they need to. Overall, this is looking like a pretty standard defense.
Device activated.
Place device!
The second floor always good. All right, we're on to defense. The
Deploy.
main helicopter sidewall is electrified, but they are dodging that entirely. It's a pretty hefty generator push. Yeah,
Swapping.
bit of careful droning here, just making sure that the angles are clear.
Air trap planted. Ready to go. Device ready.
Reload!
Oh,
Reloading!
very long first floor roam clear, which, while useful, does take up a lot of
Device
time.
placed.
As we're already halfway into the round here. While they have a thermite, we are getting down to 1 minute, so if they are going to breach, it does have to be soon, or else they are just going to push. There it goes. Oh, we've got one underneath that. Interesting push there.
It's a 3 versus 5. Northwood very capable of holding on to this one, but I mean, it's definitely going to be difficult moving in from this. especially
Very
with
small amount
everybody
of
just
time
pinching
left.
in.
All they have to do is just hold on to it and not let go.
They lose a little bit of life from Lodi. I mean, they have to know that someone's here. Lexi's gonna
Nasty
fall for a
shot.
great shot from the Nomad. A
And
fourth
another
kill
one.
Time to make a new
from the Nomad. 15 seconds remaining. One lightning bolt. Does
Very
hit
nasty.
one.
Juicy has to pass here. And Lance is down, and Defender goes for it.
Regents was able to take that one away at the very beginning. Was a close round for sure, though. I mean, that really could have gone either way near the end. It came down to so little time.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Throwing the line.
Whoa, fortified!
Very normal routine. Never want to stick on the same place twice, just in case it doesn't work. We are expanding a pretty fair amount, which does make sense for this site. A very large helicopter side push to begin with.
Shields
Means
up.
they're probably going for the main breaches underneath.
Reloading! Prepping needles.
Hostile in my sight.
Deploying drone. Hive activated.
Keep us strikes true. Barrier deployed.
I'm reloading.
Very long clear here that they have to get through, especially with the Legion, the zombie barrier holding rafters. It's going to make it very difficult to accurately and easily push down into the basement here. We are seeing them slowly clear it out, but it is taking a lot of time, which they do not quite have.
Tracks in action.
Ooh.
Tracks out.
I'm surprised that worked, honestly. They're holding a... Ooh! Oh, and hit that. Unfortunate. They do only have 10 seconds. Are they able
breacher is a go!
to get the user off here? And that's the round. Oh, hey, wait a minute. There's a U now on the ninja thing. That's good. We've passed. I think we've passed slight a while ago.
Either way, we are going into the
Defenders,
third
protect
round
your bombs
here.
from being defused by attackers.
And Regents have taken 2 now in a row. It does look like we have a crash coming from the Northwood side, unfortunately. So we're probably going to be getting a little bit of a pause here. You do hate to see some internet issues.
Sure.
Might end up being a rehost here. And it does look like it will unfortunately be a rehost. You do hate to see it, but you know, just happens sometimes in the course of you know, making the game more fair for everybody involved. Internet issues happen to everybody, unfortunately. So
Can't
we'll
blame
get
the
back to that
colleges
game
for the awful
shortly, but
internet.
I mean, it is as was said. I mean, Regents is up 2-0 right now. They're looking really solid. That first round in particular, a very, very late round execute. And I was a little worried for them in that second round, taking that long. And I didn't see how that second round ended, if I'm being entirely honest. I was trying to figure out my side of the technical difficulties, but they did get over the line eventually. These super late round executes have been going very very well for them so far.
I am frankly a little surprised that they've been working this well because in a lot of the times that I've played, either ranked or unranked or anything like that, is that it's always when it gets down to those the last few seconds when you hear that timer going on, is that it really starts to get to you. So the fact that they're able to keep doing this under the pressure is
Mhm.
really a defining part of their team, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that they're able to do this. The whole strategy just being built around the fact that they can play these late rounds, they can stay cool under that pressure, and they take their time to make sure that those approaches are safe in the late round. It's done very well for them so far. And I think that the bans that they implemented early on help a lot with that. Obviously, getting rid of the Mira and the Cade just makes it so that those walls significantly frailer. Of course, they
Even
could still bring
though,
the
yeah,
Bandit, but
e- even though they still have the bans of the Ace and the Maverick, making it much harder to breach, I guess, consistently, the availability of Thermite and even Hibana makes it
mhm,
significantly easier still to be able to get that breach open.
yeah, absolutely. And it'll be an interesting thing going forward, I think, to see how Northwood reacts to this and potentially changes up their approach. I'm very curious to see what their not third round, but their third ban will be in a couple of rounds here. I think that it's possible that we just see another hard breach banned out. We could just see Thermite thrown into the mix because Thermite's not a bad ban in any scenarios here, but it would not shock me at all to see Regents banning the Bandit third, just to ensure the fact that wall denial is limited entirely to
That's
just the
fair,
Tubadao.
but I would counter that an Azami ban is equally
Mm,
likely. Because
that's
as
very
we've
true.
seen, the Azami has been almost key for all of these defenses so far. So if they really want to be able to get into the site and not worry about as much as the angles that all the Kiba barriers create, then that Azami ban is what I think is going to be key to accurately pushing into site and getting through.
Very well could be. I'm very excited to see how this goes as well. So getting right back into this one, hopefully no more technical difficulties moving forward here, but back into it. At long last, we have returned. Looking at a completely different setup here now, but it does look like we're going back to the second floor site for defense. Not
Does make
entirely
sense.
shocking. I think that it makes the most sense considering, I mean, like you said, like I said, I mean, we either really expect the
Attackers
Azami
need to
or the
locate
Bandit
and
to be
defuse
banned
as many
in the
bombs as
next
they
round.
can.
And I think that both of those operators are like arguably at their best on this site. I think you could maybe make an argument for Bandit on the basement as well, but I think Azami definitely at her strongest up top.
Now, what I find interesting is that the Regents have picked a very interesting array of operators. They have obviously Thermite for the hard breach. They have Buck and Ash for rushing in. They also have a
Device
Monty,
activated.
which while slower, obviously can help get the
Device
plant down, and
set.
the same with the Nomad. But the thing with the Monty is obviously you're slower. You have to more or less bring up the flank. So by bringing all these Russian operators, I am a little concerned that it may be stretching their plan a little too thin here. But we'll see how it plans out for them.
Activated.
I will also point out that Rude Awakening, just like the first time that they came to this site, is going to be on that Tubarao. They do really like the ability to delay those wall takes even further. Obviously, the Bandit cannot do it alone. But I mean, we see JHN once again bringing along that buck, so Lexi not going to have an easy time of holding on to it, and it kind of looks like she's not even going to be like directly next to the IT wall in this instance, just playing over towards the garage area. And I kind of like this play, just forcing the Buck to push in, waste a little bit more time, and not worry too much about that IT wall, but just making sure that it isn't taken immediately, you know?
Yeah, we're seeing a very thorough roam clear as we have the past 2 rounds, which
Mm-hmm.
at least it shows that they are taking their time. But as we've also seen, they can also make use out of those last few moments where that pressure comes down to it. So, assuming they can roam clear effectively here with, as it would seem, not too many on the roam, it would give them a chance to very easily push up, get the wall open, and we've got an engagement going on here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It was pretty close, but eventually Zeno does get out of dodge, makes it all the way back upstairs, and JHN not able to finish off that kill. So
Yep, now they gotta cover the flank, take their time a little bit more because they aren't sure where the vigil has gone, which means that they're delaying it even more now.
these drones are pretty close to being able to lock down the location of a couple of Northwood's players.
We're down to
Batteries
a minute
are-
now. This team is
Batteries
taking their
now down.
time, which, while not a bad thing, could potentially lead to some issues here in this last stretch.
Yep.
There's
There's
breach.
the breach goes out. I don't know if that was IT wall though. I think that Rude Awakening was there and had one of the canisters available to stall that from being
Monty
breached
in,
at least
taking
immediately.
space, as Monty does.
26 seconds remaining in the round, and they finally seem to start to be moving in on this one just a little bit here. Monty moving up through Aqua, and Rude Awakening
First
does eventually go down. The
Missed
first
the
kill of the round with 12 seconds left.
I don't
10 seconds
think
remaining in the
there's-
round, and they have the diffuser, but Lodi finding Zeno as well. Lexi able to get one back, but with only a couple seconds left, they don't have the
Across
diffuser.
the board,
It's gone down.
Massive swing for the defending team here. Well done, Regents.
Really, really well done to the side of Northwood. Finally able to take that first defensive round here in probably a very crucial one too, because I mean, as we were talking about earlier, there's an operator that's about to get banned and potentially going to be one of those operators that is extremely valuable to this defensive side. I mean, you think it might be a zombie. I think it might be Bandit. I think now that they've won top floor, I think it's more likely to be Bandit. But it is
Fenrir.
Fenrir. Okay.
All right. Obviously, Fenrir, very strong operator, covers a lot of area, can be very flexible. The buck ban is something that I find very interesting because now is that the top floor isn't as much of an issue because they've already gotten that out. So not unless they also plan to follow up on that, they'd have to use stuff like Ash or something to get that open. And I feel like Buck's utility, at least on this map, is generally a hair less than the other soft breach.
Attackers need to
alternatives
locate and defuse
Yeah,
bombs.
I mean, you still do have the sledge and the ram,
Banshee
for
ready to go.
example, especially now that they're going down to the basement. I mean, I almost rather would have seen a ram ban if you wanted to get rid of a soft breach, but the buck is the decision that Northwood will have to live with in this instance. And I mean, being able to hold on to the bandit is big here, but they don't opt to use it going down to the basement, which I find interesting. I think that there's merit to it, but holding on to main breach is going to be more difficult here, especially since you haven't brought the tuba out either. So this thermite is just going to be able to open this wall whenever he wants.
However, if anyone does plan to push garage, there will be a Nizami holding rafters, which obviously pain to clear out. We'll see if the Fenrir ban was worth leaving the Azami on the table.
Reload!
I do think it's interesting that, I mean, they are bringing the castle along once again to this basement site. And I'd love to know exactly where these barricades are because, I mean, I imagine that they get put in Animus to make that approach a little bit more difficult. That's where I talked about them being last time around without actually knowing where they were, because
Here we see the strength of
Ooh.
Azami on Rafters as it takes the
Yep.
first kill of the round.
yeah, these Kivas just make attacking this part of the map so difficult. And I mean, even though Azami obviously at her best when you're defending the top floor, you can still defend the top floor when you're not up there. Laying down in the basement.
Hard breach charge going off, and they just can't swing to Azami just because she's sitting there holding the angle on the Kiva.
Ooh, but you can swing her if you hit the shot. What a gorgeous, gorgeous one tap from Sly. Just
They are
entirely
hitting their
eliminating
shots
that.
here.
Was gorgeous. Now, that makes this attack a whole lot easier. You do still have a Legion to take care of, but a Warden downstairs through a hole in the ground, just not paying enough attention. And the Legion has escaped onto the first floor. Regents, they have cleared the top floor, but at the cost of 2 guns. And now with a minute left in the round, they still have a whole lot of distance to cover before they can get down to the basement, and they're a man down.
They are checking all of the angles, and I don't think they exactly have the luxury to be doing that right now. They need to start playing a little faster because, as we see, the clock is ticking down, and contrary to the previous rounds, they don't have as much pressure right now, so they need to be working on that ASAP.
Yeah, they gotta get moving. And 40 seconds remaining in the round. Nothing still has much changed. Same players that were alive 20 seconds ago are still standing, still breathing, but
Seconds left.
it is, as I said, Regents, they do have that main breach open. Still a couple of smoke grenades as well for Thunder Valve, so this could be open at any moment, and these Animus windows are getting busted open by the sledge, but
Out behind
Zeno with
pillar.
another great shot. SMG from the Warden continues to find skulls, and Lexi is going to finish it off. Another defensive round for Northwood. That's 2 in a row.
Very good round. We're starting to see this come back. Maybe it was the buck pan. Maybe that is what's really bringing the defense out. But so far, I think Regent's previous strategy, which is take the time, clear out the roam, establish your map presence, is starting to work against them now. Because as we see, they are now taking their time maybe a little bit too much, and they're putting the pressure on themselves to perform in those last moments.
Attackers
And I
need to
feel that
locate and
now it
defuse
may
bombs.
be getting a little too close for that.
Definitely so, and now that you've won on both the top floor and the basement, you're forced into a slightly different scenario here. We are going to be looking at this kitchen bomb site. This one, not super popular amongst a lot of teams, but more common to see this one than it is the garage hold when it comes to
I really prefer
a third choice.
I'd really prefer it, mostly because garage
Okay.
is, in my opinion, too close to so many exterior areas where it makes it very hard to defend very easily. Kitchen has less vert on it. Doesn't have a main exterior breach if you don't count the hatch. And overall, there's just general less presence that you have to do in order to take it.
Zeno has run outside to get that hatch that leads directly into the kitchen closet, so manages to make that escape.
Very defensive strategy here. A lot of operators designed to stay on site. Zombie, Doc, Castle, Mute, all these operators best to just hold down an area and not let go.
Changing max.
Looking very solid here, and I mean, this continues to be a pattern. It does not matter which site they are playing. Northwood is playing just a very similar strategy of putting at least a little bit of setup somewhere on the top floor. This time it's going to be over in the connector area rather than over in the main site.
Oh, baby.
That is a gross angle. It's disgusting.
If I died to that, I would be angry and depressed, let me tell you.
Oh, I would be exceedingly angry personally. Oh, not quite gonna be off of that angle, but it's gonna be close.
The frag
as
doesn't
is
get
the
the kill,
damage.
the flash doesn't stop anything, and because it's Doc, they get full heal. And we've
Yep.
almost completely reset. swinging.
More frags going in. Oh, little bit of a miscommunication or misplay there. The Kiba stopping the Doc from playing aggressive in that instance. And I mean, Xeno does eventually get taken out of the picture. It's just this Doc available, but you have to know that he's still here. The drones were able to show you, and oh, that's just tragic.
The distraction
Wait.
work.
Quite.
Just.
Oh, I love the idea of the Bailiff Rush for sure, but doesn't end up working
Have
out.
a minute left, and they've got the Rams first. That's about it. C4 misses the mark. Seconds, and it is going to be quite hard here with some of these ops remaining. It's going to be very hard to be able to push inside reliably.
43 seconds left, but I think one of the big cruxes of this attack right now is this Ram. The fact that you have these boogies will just allow you so much sight onto the site. And I mean, the damage that you can maybe do through the holes in the ceiling is massive, just like that Lodi managing to find the Azami. Not an Azami, excuse me, a Rooney. Two completely different operators.
But was what was really holding off that vertical play. So with that down, 10 seconds left. They got a window, and they got a...
Oh, but the diffuser goes down! You don't have that shield to play with anymore, and the castle and the mutes are enough. It's gonna be another Northwood defensive round. Unbelievable stuff.
See a comeback here from Northwood. Some fascinating plays going on here.
I mean, absolutely wild stuff, Genius. This has been absurd. And I mean, it's kind of crazy because I don't think that the Fenrir or the Buck bans would have mattered too much on that one. If I'm like
they could have.
I don't know. Maybe I'm going a little.
They could have really
Yeah.
gotten rid of that hard breaching ability, but they didn't, and now we're seeing that become an issue. They could have banned Azami, and they could have further been able to push in and get advantage.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
So maybe we're seeing some of these bans come back and bite them in the butt a little bit.
Maybe just a tad, but again, now that we've seen 3 defensive round wins for Northwood, we are going to be going back up top. So I like this choice. Obviously, it's between this or the what's it called? The garage, because they haven't been there yet. And I mean, this just feels like a no-brainer. Lexi Lemonhead, by the way, since the rehost, 4-0, not dying yet since the rehost, playing 3 rounds. Hey, that's why they're on the collegiate team, and we're just casting.
Hey, you know what they say, those who can't do, coach.
Indeed. I can't even coach. I just talk about the game, man.
I really love Capcom on this second floor site because, especially with the new modernization, the gas pipe.
No Capcam. What are you talking
towards
about,
the
man?
exterior breach, if you just place one Capcan on that explodes, takes out the operator immediately, which leaves you 2 more EDDs for 2 other doors.
Well, that's very nice,
useful
but there
pick
is
as long as you know that they aren't going to bring something like IQ in this instance.
Well, that's
very much
that's
relies
very
on
nice,
bans
but
and information.
It's very nice, but there isn't no captain.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't. Obviously, in higher ranks, people are more aware of it. But I really feel like he's underutilized in this match, just due to so many doorways that people don't really know exist, and so many doorways that people don't really feel like they need to check. As we're seeing this very large roam clear again, taking their time. We're already a minute into the round, and we are seeing not much happening, honestly. This IQ taking their time to slowly clear it out, but we've got someone on stairs that they don't know about. Okay, Vigil.
You're gonna know. I think that's the reason they bring along the IQ, just to help hunt down the Vigil.
That's fair.
I mean, it's a fine
back. I don't think they'll give up. There is a kill found.
Oh, it's on Rude Awakening too. No more Tubadao to be found for this site. But I mean, I think it's interesting that they bring along IQ for this. I think that there's a double usage here. Obviously, down the vigil, but also being able to get rid of these bandit batteries from below. But that's not going to be an option anymore because Zeno has taken Lodi out of the picture. IQ no longer available for this team, and I mean, that's just going to make a lot of things more difficult here. You did take one battery out, so
Main
Lexi
breach.
is not able to get back.
Open.
He opened. He knows. Zeno,
Nasty
another
angle.
pick. Another gorgeous pick here. Lodi first and Thunder Valve second. Bomb is out. I mean, Regents, they're hoping to be able to use this to lock Zeno down, and
Damage on both sides.
Yeah,
There's
the
the
picture
Kiva coming
here.
out, and the Kiva does not protect it enough. Izami goes down.
it's a solid
Frag
attack
grenade.
here from the Regents, but
We have 20
ending
seconds
this
left.
half with 3-3 would be
Northwest
super
has the
nice.
man
20 seconds
advantage.
remaining.
All I have to do is hold on to it. Warden shotgun maintaining that hallway there. Oh, they're pushing up into it. Could see a swing here.
Oh,
And
the
it goes
swing
down.
at that exact moment.
Okay, that's time. That's game.
Northwood.
Kills fall. Northwood
Northwood's gonna
doing
take-
a very strong comeback here. Going 2-0, well 0-2 to now 4-2.
Yeah.
We're on to a new set of bans here as the sides swap. Northwood on attack, Regents on defense. We see Mira and
Four in
Ace
a row is
bans
crazy.
again. Very typical.
I mean, 4 in a row is kind of insane. After the way that Regents were able to do those late executes that we were praising so early.
And
I mean,
another
just-
Kaid and Maverick ban. Some
Is this the
Interesting.
same bands we saw
Yes,
from
the exact
first
same bands in the exact same order. I know Maestro
Well-
is relatively not Maestro. I know Maverick is relatively strong in this map. But I don't think he's
Defenders,
consistent.
protect your
ban
bombs
worthy,
from being
you know what I mean?
defused by attackers.
I think he is. I think it makes a lot of sense to see, especially when you're going to be defending this first site of the top floor IQ wall. I think the easiest and most reliable way of opening it up is in fact playing that Maverick and Maverick tricking, just doing that, using the Ash Breach charge to open the wall once it is softened up. Because, I mean, what is a bandit supposed to do about that, right? You put your batteries down at the bottom.
Kiva deployed.
I mean,
Surface
either the
secured.
trick happens and the batteries don't work, or
Deployed
the
barrier.
things just get shot in the first. What I'm more interested in defensively here is the fact that we are seeing this Denari, the newest operator in the game as of this season. And this tripwire setup through connector, I think, is going to be very interesting, just to ensure that that attacking angle is slightly more difficult for the side of Northwood.
Loading new map.
Nari is a very consistent operator on this map from the very brief experiences I've had. He's able to cover a lot of enemies very easily, and overall is just a very great spot for
They
area
cleared the
denial.
blast.
Got the Raptors hold here, very strong. But what I find interesting is the Flores pick, which is likely to counter the Denari here. I would
That's
like
a
to
twitch.
see how this plays out.
It is a twitch. Other than
Device
a
activated.
easy mistake
Bomb
to make,
located
both
by
drone
attackers.
operators who are very good at making Denari's day significantly worse. But end of the day, Lodi is the first player to go down in this fight, so no Izami, no more Kivas to work with, and obviously losing out on the Izami so early in the round it sucks,
Drone is
because
ready to go.
I mean, you get limited Kivas at the beginning of the round, recharge them throughout, so it's wild stuff, and eventually Lodi will be the next to fall, so no more Twitch drones here.
Some
Out and
interesting
active on the
usage of
field.
utility.
Big shots here, but
Here we go.
it is going to be a
Reloading
one-for-one trade. Sides of the map, players will fall, but I mean, the health advantage is in favor of Northwood. It may not end up mattering if Regents can just hit a couple of headshots, much like that one, Sly, finding
Attacker's
Vogel.
bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Thatcher now out of the
Another
equation, and it's
trade.
just a 1 versus 2 now.
Maestro
Rude
is
awakening.
down, which does bring the camera's lasers offline. So we will see how the Warden is able to maintain that site control here.
That camera. I like that play just to create a little bit more ambiguity as to where this Ashe is playing. 45 seconds remaining in the round. Rude Awakening is in no particular rush now. Has the diffuser in hand as well, but has given away the
Very
position.
big whiff with the pre-fire.
I mean, it's just a matter of JHN. How patient can you be here? You've probably heard the sprint, and the plant could very well go down in a moment here.
The solo
Baiting it out
plant
here,
is a
and
very
surely-
risky strategy. 15 seconds left in the round. There's got to be action somewhere. Not checking the angle and
Yup.
connector means that the next round goes to defending side.
Yup, very well played there from the Denari of JHN. E-Box was held down for that entire round. I don't think Northwood even tried to push through connector. I think it was entirely through garage and IT. So it was kind of just free real estate for JHN to hold that for the entirety of the round. It was gorgeous. Now
Attackers need to
moving down
locate and
to the
defuse
basement.
bombs.
Not in shock to see this setup at all either. Another one of those instances with the double wall denial of the bandit and the tuber. I'm curious about is this. I don't imagine we're gonna see the Brava staying here because I think the only thing that you can provide effect with the edge drones on this team is those Relidas.
And
Sure if
overheat
that's entirely
the bandit batteries, but obviously the bandit has to be away from them. They have to be vulnerable enough in order to get the clutch drone up to
Yep.
it. So, while not fully useless, I do. Oh, no, it's
Maybe they still
Bravo's
do.
locked in. Interesting choice.
Attackers
Hey,
must
alright.
locate and defuse a bomb.
There is a lack of a defined hard breacher here. They have sense,
Clutch
and
online.
with the hard breaching charge, so that does
Yeah.
mean that they do have a hard breaching charge, but the lack of anything like a thermite will mean that it gets slower. Sense obviously had a lot of buffs over this past year, which has made them a lot stronger. So hopefully we can see how well they execute with this bottom site here.
They do take control of a couple of cameras here, and I mean, in an instance like this, that is going to be the best way to use the Brava drones. So,
Load!
not entirely shocking. It's just a matter of where are you going to be able to hold this at this point. And I mean, Thunder Valve just now going for another battery onto that main breach on the site. And, I mean, that's risky play,
Very
but
nasty trade
oh
here.
God, what a shot there from Sly. An excellently hit shot. And I
Did
think
the
main
trick
breach does
go
get open
off?
just now. I think it did. I don't think the bandit had time to get the battery down there, but I could be mistaken. It does
Nope,
look
nope,
like
that's open.
yeah, it does look like it went down. Now it's a 3 versus 4. Northwood on the back foot after losing out on the Ram and the Brava. But I mean, there's still some heavy hitters on this
They're
team.
holding
Lightning
the
Blade
breach
and
very
Lexi.
tight.
My air jab is
But
deployed.
there's a
Blade
lot
and
of
Lexi.
space here that needs to get taken if they want to be able to execute like they want to.
Mm-hmm.
See Lightning Blade pushing the back stairs here, which are being pretty well held by the Regents right now. Lightning Blade rotated over to main stairs, still holding the breach very tight. Minute left in the round.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of time left, but I mean, what's crazy to me is the fact that Lexi Lemonhead on this sense has practically moved into the site at this point. I think still in Animus technically, yeah. In fact, she is.
Deploy.
Got one in.
The Sense walls are going to
Killer,
cut
just
up the
very
line of sight so much, but there's a player off to the left. You've got to be aware of this, especially now that people has taken Lightning Blade out of the equation. Northwood still in trouble here. Fruit Bowl goes down.
Very
That's
good
a
LMG
big play, but I mean, you still need this
system.
Sense wall to be massive because that
Wow.
line of sight needs to be cut off so you can save the plant down.
Plant
And
going
eventually
down.
it will.
Are they swinging up? They are not. They are holding.
They can't swing reliably right now because of the wall going down. But eventually, it's out of the equation, and down goes the Sens. It's a 1 versus 3, and Vogel able to find the first off the back of it. But JH won't fly. Neither of them want to let this one slip away. The smoke canisters are going
They are
out.
currently
The
trapped, and
defuse
Animus
is
not letting it
going
swing
in
around
right
into
now.
an angle.
Animus is trapped. You can't get
They
out.
walk
and the
into
defuse
it,
will
and
come through.
that's the diffuser getting disabled. Some beautiful team play here, being able to cover each other's angles, working all that utility just to cram it into that one tiny room there. Animus is a strong position, but it can also be a death trap if you don't play it right, and we see what happens if you don't.
Is that a storage control pick I see? Interesting.
That
So, okay.
is.
So Regents seems to be more comfortable here than they do on the kitchen site, which I think makes sense. I don't think either of the sites are particularly great, but I think that kitchen,
Attackers need to locate
I
and
think that
defuse as many
it
bombs as they
kind of
can.
comes down to preference at a certain point, right? Like,
Yeah.
maybe they just feel a little bit more comfortable here than they do kitchen. And
I mean,
last
aside
time we
from
saw
like,
kitchen, it was a defensive round win. So
I don't know, throne room on
Loading
theme park,
mag!
most first floor sites tend not to be very good. So a lot of times when it comes down to it, it's just which one do you hate less?
Camera activated!
very true.
It almost looks like they're defending top floor here with the amount of utility and effort they're putting into that.
Camera ready.
10 seconds to go.
Glossy is what you have to do sometimes, just because
Device
the
placed.
top floor vertical is so essential to holding both of these sites.
Activate camera. Camera ready to
You've
activate.
got to be able to hold so many different places. That's why we're still seeing Thunder Valve with the Bandit
That's a
up in
full
IT.
generator side spawn here. You get to
Oh,
see
yeah.
the entire team move in together. They
They
gonna
move as one.
Rude Awakening, busting some moves.
But they do bring along the Blackbeard as well. I do find it interesting that we've seen several different shield operators up to this point. We've seen both the Monty and the Blackbeard come out. No Blitz quite yet, and no Fuse Shield. As funny as that would be, if I'm being entirely honest. These shield operators are so powerful for just
They
getting
tried to
into the
run
second.
it.
They
They are all
tried.
getting punished for it.
Time for a
Regents
wake-up
gaining
call.
those angles.
I like the attempt to change the pace from Northwood. Unfortunately, Regents just has so much vertical control over this site. And there just wasn't enough attempts
My
put into
gosh.
clearing that out, and Regents
An
just
absolute massacre from the top floor
Yeah.
roam to the main site hold. Beautiful job from Regents.
I mean, yeah, it's as I said, Northwood just not doing any clearing of the top site here, and I
Yeah.
mean, last time around, the bans I think were a little bit of a reason that Northwood were able to string together those 4 rounds in a row to end the half, and this time they're gonna opt to
Castle
ban
and
out the
Dokkaebi.
castle. I think Castle is a better ban than Fenrir, but I still don't love it. You know, I
I
think
know.
that getting
Obviously,
rid of that bandit would have been
Dokkaebi,
really nice.
very
especially
annoying and very consistent, which is why she's an operator that's often banned so much. But I don't feel like the Regent strategy has been that reliant on Castle so far. I would have probably gone for something
Nope.
like the Bandit or the Warden that have been consistently performing and being
Oh, yeah.
able
Attackers
to
need to locate
slow
and
down
defuse
that
as many
push.
bombs
But
as they
obviously
can.
Castle, very good at denying an area,
Hello,
but
gotta reload!
sometimes not as good with the relatively weaker UMP 45, which does mean it's a bit harder for him to be able to get that aggressive play style going.
I'm reloading.
it is a slightly strange set of bans.
My
I mean,
UI
the-
ready.
I
Changing
don't
mag!
dislike the Dokkaebi ban. Obviously, it was a pick that Northwood brought to the table in that previous round, but I don't think it was the most
Deploying proximity
crucial
alarm.
part of the game plan for Northwood University either. So it'll be interesting to see how this round goes. But I mean, back to the second floor, we're seeing an extremely similar setup to the previous time Regents were up here. Denari cutting off the E-box and the entrance from the top
Device
garage.
perimeter defense active.
The obvious bandits. When there is no time to just bring the bandit, it only makes sense. But
The Brava hacking.
I do like the Brava. I do like the Brava in this instance because they're going to be up against a Maestro, which I think is a much better pick than what we've seen previously.
And a nearly instant destruction of the hacked camera. Very risky. Twitch drone, I don't believe it did hit once, but that's only one battery down out of 4.
Yep.
It's a very tight what we've got going on here.
Lights out.
They have more to work with. Get rid of these batteries. Rude Awakening out of the picture now too.
Device,
so
please!
Lava not for the rest of this round, and
Thermsure breaches perfectly. A very nasty angle from Lemonhead here.
The Lightning Blade finds Lodi as well. This is going to be a significantly easier entry than anything Northwood has had to deal with so far. A lot of utility now as well getting cut out for
Precaution
Regents.
device planted.
Well, air jabs
Air jabs
down as
going
well, just to
down
ensure
for
that the first floor flanks through garage are damn near impossible for the side of Regents, but I don't think they're going to be going for those anyway. They seem to be pretty comfortably holed up on site right now.
Got the Maestro Cam and IT holding down the area on its own, which is just as a sheer piece of utility. The Maestro Cam is almost everything for a round. With the Brava already out of the equation, that does mean that they aren't going to be able to deal with that as easily.
Yeah, no Gone Six, no Flores drone, no nothing, and JHN on this Denari has been so valuable for the side of Regents.
Playing
Since
so
the
close
rehost,
up to an
9
angle is
kills.
a bit risky, but pays off as we can see. Especially with that one whiffed DMR shot giving away the position. Sometimes just that little bit of information is all you need.
A 10th kill since the rehost.
Beautiful.
Another hard breach charge being used here by Lexi.
Denari
Able to
holding
get in,
that
potentially.
long angle. Oh my god.
JHN again!
An instant. And
Cut down!
with the pincer on the defense, that does mean that this goes to Regents again. You're seeing some beautiful work going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's as you say, the shots have been gorgeous, and now I believe that they have the option between basement and kitchen, but they will opt to go basement again here. I think
Does
that this
make
is the right
sense.
call for Regents. I mean, kitchen would be a really funny way to potentially end this map, but I think that you've just been so much more consistent on these on the basement sites here. You don't need to switch up the strategy that you've already been winning with. I mean, Bandit, Warden, Tubarao, just to make it so much
Defenders,
harder for the
protect
approach
your
to
bombs
happen
from being
here.
defused by attackers.
I think we saw at the very end of that last round too, Slide
Changing map.
on that Warden, just able to shrug off a couple of flashbangs thrown into the site, and
Device dead.
Northwood could not get anything done off the back of the Denari, hitting every shot imaginable, and the Warden just not phasing in the face of those flashes. So, I mean,
A very
excellent stuff to
defensive
Regents.
setup going on from the Regents with a lot of the Bandit, the Tubarao, the Mutes, all just for wall and info denial.
Place
The Smoke and Warden just being able to hold the space is needed in order to secure that
jammer.
victory. Some very heavy, strong defenses going on here. We are also not seeing a dedicated hard breacher. We do have the Sens, and which obviously does work as we've seen. The Sens has gotten off, but it does mean that it's going to be much harder to play off of. We'll see if this Sens is able to work to their best efficiency here on this basement site without the dedicated breacher. Obviously, the
Nothing.
ram up top will be contested by Lodi here.
The operator I'm mostly looking at right now is Rude Awakening on this Thermos. I really like the fact that they've brought this along just to see if they can hunt down one roamer in particular, just to make it that much more difficult for Regents, excuse me, to get away with these top floor lurks, which have been a problem in these previous rounds. I mean, you remember the garage hold round where Regents just were up on top floor and won the round in practically 30 seconds. It was not pretty for Northwood, and I like the fact that they bring this operator along. I like the fact that they're able to hunt down and take
Loading new
the
mag.
Warden out of the picture. They do unfortunately lose out on this not Valkyrie, excuse me, this Nomad. Jungle's
Very
Reawakening.
interesting C4.
Yeah, I like the thought, but I don't think anybody was near that in that instance. And
Going for the hard breach now while they have a moment. Main's room.
oh,
Peeking the wrong
Xeno.
angle, not ready for it. Xeno goes down.
That's not good for them at all. And Lexi Lemonhead losing out on her life. It's just Vogel in a 1 versus 4. This would have to be miraculous. You do
We're
not have
seeing
a lot of utility to work with.
How these secondary hard breach charges are having their own issues because they're so small, forces into more tighter angles, which obviously means much easier for the defense to hold. And now in a 1v4, it is going to be nearly impossible for Vogel here to be able to push in. We'll see if he is able to. 4 missing.
I mean, I don't think it's even possible from this site. I think if you wanted to win this round, you had to try and enter the building from maybe the first floor and make your way down, because now they know exactly where you are, and that's gonna be the map. Nighthaven Labs will end with a victory for the side of, oh my goodness, Regents.
Very good.
I mean, that's just an insane showing. I mean, 2 in a round to start is absolutely massive for them, but 4 in a row on the defensive side from Northwood. Beautiful, beautiful string of rounds, but it just was not enough in the end. Regents able to take the next, like, are we kidding me? They took another like 5 rounds in a row.
It's
They didn't allow Northwood. They didn't allow Northwood to take a single attack round. Not one. It was crazy stuff. Beautiful, beautiful gameplay throughout that entire map from Regents. Even in the rounds that they were losing, they were making a lot of them close, come down to the last few seconds. And I think that those like low time executes near the end of them were very it's hard to make them work consistently. Yeah, very nail biting. Sometimes you get the plant down and you can manage to win that in the post plant, but sometimes it just doesn't end up working out that way. I believe that we are going to be going to a quick break, but when we come back, map 2 is going to be border. So we will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, boss, if I talk, I will knock you out. 33 don't care, dream man. Go to them. I don't want you, know them upcoming new artists. Go to watch out. What watch out? Them stink like my money. By the way, I don't want you, no knife. I only want you in the river.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Reload! Reinforce wall! Shields ready. Changing mags!
Barrier activated.
Fortified wall! Still going up! Clear the blast zone.
Keep us strikes true.
Perimeter
Barrier.
defense.
10 seconds left.
I'm reloading.
Adding some protection.
Protection from grenades.
Devices. Reloading mag.
Place device. Device placed.
Drones up and running.
Shields up.
Loading. Cover me.
Changing mags.
Initiating hack.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Jammer.
Setting up.
Loaded mag!
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Wall fortifications upgraded. Reload!
Reinforcing wall.
10 seconds left.
Tiba deployed.
Activating jammer. Pastilla is active. Activating jammer.
Deploying welcome mat. As my friend would say, time to
Swapping mags.
I like the use of the logic bomb, but because they bring along the mute, a couple of these players just stay hidden despite the usage of the Dokkaebi gadget. And I think positions are pretty well known at this point. So Northwood, they have an okay spot at being able to just execute onto the site here. They're starting to get the defuse down, but Rude Awakening out of the picture. It's just going to be a couple of players here able to defend this one, and it's just now the Habana in a 1 versus 4. Down, though, goes that Azami. There are still 2 players standing, but you don't know which angle they're going to be coming at you from. You have a pretty good idea that they might be on your left, but the C4, not where you thought it was going to be, and a Fruit Bowl is able to close out the round. Regents, they're going to be able to get a defensive round right back.
1 person, 4 angles, it's just not something that you can reasonably hold. Tried their best, just not very good. Lexi in the chat, generational fumble. We are seeing just that hair of toxicity. Hey, you know what? I endorse it. All in good fun.
I mean, it was a 1v4. I don't think that was a generational fumble. I think it was just a tough situation to be put in near the end of that there. So
Yeah.
like you hate to see it.
We are moving on to Ventilation Workshop, which is, I think I would say, my favorite site on this map.
Really?
Yes.
Attackers need to
I mean,
I dig it.
sure,
defuse as many
you're
bombs
very
as they can.
close to the outside. However, the upstairs roam you can have, and just the sites being so close to each other, makes it very easy to hold on to both of them at the same time, as long as you're playing it right. I mean, if
For
we're
sure.
looking at this right now, they're setting up the top floor very strong. They've got 3 up there and only 2 sitting on site. But they also are extending that pretty far off the bomb site. I'm interested to see how this plays out and where
10 seconds
Northwood
remaining.
decides to attack this round.
Magnet deployed.
Very mobile defense going on here.
Right, back into it. It is, as you say, Ventilation Workshop. And I mean, again, we're seeing Regents holding on to this top floor best they can. The players up top, and I mean, these just feel like very standard compositions on both sides of the equation here. The mute is kind of in a mainstay every single time Regents have gone down to the first floor up to this point, and it makes the life of the Twitch player that much harder to get value out of her ability. So
These are all
Really
some
gonna
very
wanna see
quick
some.
operators able to get some very fast
Oh,
kills.
yeah.
So I suspect a much faster round this time around, as we are already seeing a lot of SMG shots flying by, none of them quite finding their mark yet.
Oh, but some of them found Lodi's body. Not quite the dome, otherwise they'd be out of the equation entirely, but it will be a difficult one. Now the toxic canister's already being burned here while holding on to the second floor. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that Smoke is one of those operators that is at his best when he is in those late rounds, stalling out the ability for the attackers to put the diffuser down, and mute JHN out of the picture first in this round, not able to
Through
find
the fire
really any
extinguisher,
value.
too.
Yeah, the fire extinguisher not going to be a factor in the rest of the round either. So, I mean, Regents still managing to keep bodies up top on the second floor, and I thought that was a kill for Regents for a moment, but it was not quite there. I think it was a knock, but eventually Lodi will be able to get Lightning Blade.
This is
the
why you
resurrect
have to be
will
careful
come
while
through for
sprinting.
sure.
You don't have that gun up,
Yep.
you can't shoot back.
Yep. Bio moment.
Magnificent hold from Lodi here, who, while hurt, is doing their best to hold that position as well as they can. Oh!
He's eventually taken out of the picture, though, with a nice little double kill to stall in that top room, though. I mean, that's just stellar gameplay coming out from the smoke. And now only 2 players remain for Regents, but I mean, Lodi might have done enough of a job stalling up top to make it matter. This has to be a super late round execute, and they know exactly where you're coming from. Northwood, they've dropped the diffuser onto the site, and they know exactly where you are at this point. The plant has to start going down in just a moment here. But Vogel, it's all on his back to protect Rude Awakening, who goes down. The plant, it won't even come close. And Regents, I mean, it looked kind of sketchy for a moment there, but they end up winning the round.
A very beautiful defense. We are seeing here just the capability of roamers on this map to delay time and push that push back even further. We're seeing how holding that space, especially with operators like Smoke, who are so good at holding off time, are so strong on this map. And the bans, Azami and Twitch. Very interesting choices here. Moving back to second floor. Interested to see how well the Twitch plays out with this little utility. We are seeing Denari and Bandit, very strong picks on this map, but we will see how well they are able to clear that out with just a Flores, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, it gets a little bit harder without the use of that Twitch, but I mean, Flores is still a very good operator when it comes to getting rid of those particular pieces of utility. It's just a matter of, you know, holding on to some of the other things here. The ban out onto the Azami means that you don't need to use any of the Flores drones on those, so that is a bright side for them for sure. But one of the other big issues I see Northwood running into this round is gonna be that clash. That operator is not easy to play around in the slightest. So
they
going to be
reworked her,
interesting.
and she's still annoying.
Yep. I mean, I think that by nature, any shield operator can be described with the word annoying, like permanently. I don't think that stigma is ever going away. It's just
fair.
I think that this operator, I don't know how you make a shield operator fun with any kind of rework to play against. I should clarify. If you have fun playing with shield operators, you might be a little bit crazy, but I kind of respect it.
You're seeing a very strong Valley side push here. A lot of vertical plays from below with the buck pick.
Flashbang out.
Ooh, early pick onto the Warden. Completely out of the picture. And Lodi down as well. Rude Awakening does get traded out. And I mean, that's a good early pick. The Logic Bomb's not even going to be an issue in this round. But maybe the clash isn't going to be an issue. 4 versus 2, and you don't have that operator on the field at all anymore. It's a 1 versus 4. And the round has barely begun. JHN, one of the stars of last map for Regents, left in an impossible situation.
Less than a minute into the round, and we are already into a 1v4. This is some phenomenal work here from Northwood.
Yep. I mean, this surely ends momentarily here. JHN, very little health to work with, and Lightning Blade is able to swoop in and finish the round off. I would also like to point out, by the way, Lightning Blade has 9 kills in 4 rounds.
Some beautiful stuff here. We are seeing some great work. JHN going 0-3 right now, looking like my record.
Oh no.
Hey,
oh,
look,
no.
the saying always goes, when you point a finger at someone, there's 4 pointing back at you. And buddy, my KD is not looking too hot.
Bathroom Tellers is where we will be returning to for this next attack here. And I mean, I think permanently from this point onward, we can expect to see Northwood running in with these
Attackers need to
operators
locate
like the
and
Ram,
defuse as
like
many bombs as they
the
can.
the Buck. That's his name. Because I mean, it's as you said earlier when we were going into this map. This map has a lot of breakable surfaces, and vertical play becomes so important here on Border. So even when the second floor is picked, you see the Buck picked by Northwood just to be able to break the floor below Regents and throw flashes up towards them. But this
Now,
time
there
around,
are
it's going to be the opposite
two
entirely.
operator picks I want to bring attention to here, that being
Okay.
the Valkyrie and the Zofia.
hmm
Now, obviously, the Valkyrie
Okay.
very strong here. A lot of borders corners have a lot of very dark spots. It makes it a very great spot to hide the black eyes in. But the Zofia specifically is what interests me, because with
hmm
all of her utility, especially with the main breach of the window and tellers like that, it's very easy to be able to push through an advantage and almost force it through. So I'm interested to see how this plays out.
I'm not ready to go.
I do think that it is interesting how many different operators we have seen Rude Awakening play throughout this series so far. I mean, last round alone, we did end up seeing the Dokkaebi, but this time opting for, as you say, the Zofia. 1-for-1 trade up top, by the way. Lodi able to find Lightning Blade. That's the top frag of Northwood out of the round entirely, but quickly traded out. And now it's just a matter of a 4-person execute. And I think you're kind of okay with losing both of these operators first. I mean, you slap down their utility and they're there for the rest of the round regardless. But I mean, if you end up losing out on somebody like the Hibana or the Ram, it becomes a significantly more difficult round to play out. But
You're seeing
so
Slide
far,
droned out here in a very rough
oh, Zeno!
position.
Slide
Does
on the
go down.
Fenrir. Not able to stay standing. And that is an operator you really do not like losing. Fenrir, one of those that is significantly more potent the longer into a round he stays alive. Now out of the picture. And I mean, this hold becomes significantly harder now that the side of Northwood just has better control over this second floor. They have the Ram alive. They have the Buck alive. So many spots are about to become completely unplayable for Regents.
Regents only
A
have
lot
one
of
C4
damage.
left. They have to use that carefully, especially with the vertical presence that is currently happening. Ram shredding through all of this open floor here.
Yep. Zeno is taken out of the picture, though. JHN, first kill of the match, and it is an impactful one. And another knock. Just then, Rude Awakening also falling. Northwood looked so good a few seconds ago, and now it all falls to pieces. Lexi Lemonhead in a 1 versus 3 and just cannot get anything done. Still presence on the second floor. Perhaps just now going up there, but it is enough for Regents to take the lead going into the final round of the first half.
We're really seeing how Borders close quarters combat really affects how this map works. We can roam very quickly and we can retreat back to site very quickly. And we are seeing this flexibility happen, especially from Regents here. For example, with that Valkyrie being able to so quickly run upstairs and then hit the Hibana at a pincher like that. It is beautiful.
Gorgeous stuff. Absolutely gorgeous stuff coming out from Regents in that round. Vent's Workshop will be the final site selected here in the first half of Border. Honestly, I really like this site pick from them. It's the one that they haven't utilized thus far, I believe. Maybe they went there once and I've forgotten, but either way, we're looking at not a lot of operator swap ups. Obviously, there's been a lot of carryover between sites in this map in particular, but like the Denari has been a staple, the Smoke has been a staple, the Mute has been a staple. We've seen the Wamai a couple times, and I believe this is the second time we're seeing the Fenrir as well. So a lot of similar comfort picks perhaps for Regents.
Now,
And a
while
lot
the
of
operators have mostly stayed the same, they have swapped between players, which I find very interesting.
That is true. Going into this one, I mean, we've seen a lot of these double soft breach operator selections, but this time around there is just the one. Not going to be a ram this time, only going to bring along the buck. Instead, Rude Awakening will be on a Finka, an operator we have not seen tonight. Probably looking to play for a little bit more of an aggressive push during perhaps the execute or the early entrance of the building.
Lodi and Fruit Bowl holding on upstairs very tightly, just slowing down all that vertical play just to try and make some time. They're doing it very well.
And I like the use of this Grim a lot as well. Just trying to lock down the exact positions of a couple of these defensive operators. I think you have a pretty good idea of where some of them are trying to play, particularly that smoke. I think that you're very cautious of where this smoke is playing, particularly because, well, they've been in this spot before. Out goes the first Finka boost. And oh, yep, you've now got confirmation that this is exactly where Lodi is playing. Buck now out of the picture. And I mean, that has to be one of the most impactful first picks you could have if you're the side of Regents.
Frag grenade with
traded out
Y
completely.
almost catching a kill.
Oh, Lightning Blade catching JHN off guard, but getting traded out pretty quick. 2 versus 3 now. Make it 2 versus 2. And as soon as I'm counting out the body count, it changes in the blink of an eye, and just like that, Lexi is able to get a couple of kills in that round to close out the first half, bringing it to a 3-3 tie.
On to the roll swap, bans cleared. What do we think we're going with? My first thought is that we're probably going to see a Mira at the very least, and probably, I would say either a Ying or a Monty for the attacking side.
Okay, I like your thought process here. It would not surprise me to see mirrored bans from the first time around, but it is going to be an ace rather than the Ying. No.
Ace being very strong on this map, especially with the balcony plays, being able to hit that breach from the distance makes it so much safer than trying to run up and thermite it.
Indeed. Blitz and Azami being the second picks here. Yeah, definitely tracks. I mean, Azami was a problem when Northwood was on the attack, rather. I believe Azami did end up getting banned out previously as well. I could be wrong, but either way, it does not surprise me to see a hard breach and a shield get banned out by the side of Northwood. Just don't want to have to deal with Ace, one of the best operators in the game, or Blitz, one of the most annoying operators in the game.
It surprises me, honestly, to see Blitz banned over someone like Blackbeard or Monty here. I mean, obviously, Blitz being the only 2-speed shield operator is relevant, but especially with a lot of borders, more open sight lines, and while close quarters, it does have a lot of very large rooms, which means Blitz has to have more time in order to run up on an opponent and actually hit them with the flash. So choosing Blitz in this instance over someone like Monty, who's able to walk into those doors and just take the space, I feel like is a very interesting choice off the start of the round.
5 seconds remaining.
I do think it's interesting that we see the Thatcher coming out from Fruit Bowl, but no dedicated hard breach operator. Just a couple of charges, I assume. Yeah, okay. A couple of charges from the Zofia and a couple from the Grim.
Sure. I
think
mean,
that's
obviously,
interesting.
the main breach right now is Mute, which is relatively easy to deal with just an EMP grenade, but even outside of that, Thatcher's EMPs disabling reticles and other smaller things, like, for example, if a black eye gets caught in it, that's taken out of the game.
That's true.
Thatcher's never really a bad operator to use.
That's fair. That's fair. Thatcher, one of those year one operators who sometimes struggles to find a super consistent use in modern top level play, but definitely has instances where the old gun is still powerful. still a solid minute into this round, and no pick, no damage to be found yet, even. But
Barely even a roam clear going on there.
yeah,
Regents taking their time, which may.
ooh,
Ooh.
Lodi's hurting, and Thunder Valve has been knocked down. And oh my god, there's just so much damage rolling through as it stands. And I like the usage of that C4, but it feels a little bit too preemptive, too predictive. Doesn't end up finding anybody, but eventually Rude Awakening will be able to take JHN out of the picture entirely. No Buck to speak of. It'll be a whole lot more difficult to play from below, looking up onto this site. And keep in mind, by the way, they still haven't been able to pick up this Zofia. Thunder Valve is still crawling around on the ground, not quite able to get back up yet, but I mean, are they able to get there? No, it doesn't look like it. Rude Awakening is taken out of the picture by Lodi, but I mean, Rude Awakening has done his job playing that balcony position so beautifully, taking 2 players out of commission from the side of Regents. So 43 seconds now remaining in the round. It's just a matter of how the execute can come in here for Regents.
We've got Xeno holding that top floor over by the stairs, fiercely holding onto it as best they can. Slowly pushing up here.
20 seconds now. Very, very short time for Regents to even get in on this one. I don't think they've done enough work to clear every angle necessary. 10 seconds remaining in the round here, and they're not even particularly close to the site right now. 4 seconds now, and they've taken a player out of the picture, but they're still losing numbers, and they can't even get to the site in time to plant the diffuser. And Northwood can take another round away here. They've taken yet another lead here on border.
Regents taking their time yet again, and we are seeing how while it can be useful sometimes, it can also just take up too much time in order to thoroughly clear out the roam like we have seen them been doing. Now, very interesting pick here from Regents, going with the Capitao, my personal main, honestly. And
Nice.
overall, a very decent pick with this site, with the fire bolts and smoke being able to clear out all the areas that you really need to. That's tellers and bathroom again. Yes, good. Very reliable site.
It's a very good site, honestly. I think of the first 4 sites, this is probably my favorite. It's either this or Vent Workshop, but I'm a big fan of this one. I do find it very interesting. I mean, you pointed out the Scopos on the first half of this map. I believe it was on this site that we saw, I think it was Sly pull out the Scopos? I do not remember exactly. I do not remember exactly which player, but Lightning Blade is doing the same thing, same site, I believe same round of the half. The second round of the half is where we're seeing this operator being played, but
The
I think that
IQ
this
choice
is
is interesting, as there aren't too many defensive gadgets aside
is
from the meat
weird.
chambers and, of course, Scopos. We will see how that is able to work out.
I think that, I mean, surely this is being brought so that you can hunt down the Scopos and so that you can spot the mute jammers from above. But I mean, what else? Like, obviously you can use it to a great effect when there's a Valkyrie on the other team, but I mean,
Fruit Bowl taking their time to just get around.
Am I crazy? Is this just for the Scopos? I mean, if so, then sure, but I feel like you have other options for that as well that can apply to the rest of the team. Deimos, perhaps.
Already a minute into the round, not much happening.
Oh,
I stand
Lightning
corrected.
Blade out of the picture entirely. What has happened to this observer camera?
On a bit of a
Okay, there we
spectating
go.
quickly. All right, we're good. Chilling.
I've never seen that before. That was kind of hilarious, honestly. Just looking at the permanent drone breakage screen. Either way, not much has changed in the time that we went into the static zone for a moment there. It is now 4 versus 4. Sly out of the picture. No logic bombs remaining for Regents to use, and I don't think they got control of the cameras either, so going to be kind of difficult for the side of Regents to get in the way that they were hoping to. But they are able to find Vogel, which is a massive pick for them. And Zeno as well goes down. 2 now alive for Northwood.
Some
And I
very
mean, these
strong
are 2 very
angles that they
capable
are finding.
players.
They are able to hit exactly where they need to, and at the same time to create that pressure that they need to in
1v4.
order to just move in.
Lexi again left in an impossible situation in Regents. They're able to take advantage of the greater numbers and just punish any slight movement from Lexi. Once again tied up, this time at 4 rounds apiece. This is a significantly closer affair, I think, than Nighthaven was.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would say I have to agree. I have to agree here. I mean, the stats are just saying it up front. It's very interesting here because we are seeing roughly the same tactics pull out, but just the layout of the map and how it works is just showing up more to create that even match going on.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
I have been informed by production about 10 minutes ago and didn't see it that it is in fact John, not JHN. So I apologize. probably should have assumed that earlier, but you know, you live, you learn, you make mistakes, all that jazz. My bad, John. I assume you may watch this back later. Not everybody does, but sometimes people do. So I apologize, John. My fault. Speaking of John hovering over the sledge this round, lots of different soft breach operators on the table this time, and in this round we are seeing the OG, the grandpappy of the soft breach operators. No Ram, no Buck, good old Sledgehammer.
We have
Love to
a
see it.
Legion pick here, which I find interesting. That hasn't been done before, I think, this entire match so far, which I find
No, we
very
saw.
interesting.
I think we saw a little
Yeah.
Legion on Nighthaven, but not
Ah.
here on Border. So, I mean, Legion. Seeing the Legion will never surprise me. This operator is never not like at least good, right? Just being able to throw down the goo mines and get intel on where a player is potentially whenever somebody walks into it. Very good gun. Obviously, is a little bit worse now that he is no longer in possession of that secondary shotgun, but still a very good operator. This time around, though, not going to be sticking around very long because Sly on this Abana rips his head off.
This
Rude
is why you
Awakening not
gotta
able
watch
to
where you're
contribute,
checking those
yeah.
cameras, because if you are standing out in the open like that, you are going to get shot. You have to be careful when you're doing that. You see what happens when you're not.
I'm not sure Rude Awakening was even on cameras there. I think he just lost the. I think he just lost when Sly swung out. And
Maybe I was
had the
just looking
advantage
at the
there.
silhouette wrong. Maybe that was me.
Maybe. It's all good though. Either way, Execute's coming in here, and I think that Regents now have a pretty solid control of Armory lockers. Becomes significantly more easy for them to get in here, but Lodi going down is important because it just allows for Lightning Blade to play so much more free. A lot of space being taken by Regents, though. I'm pretty sure that Northwood has just given up the top floor in its entirety. I don't think anybody's up there anymore.
No, they have retreated back to site, which is a move that I would recommend here. Being able to slow down here. I believe that is the secondary Scopos down. So we are now just sitting on site waiting for this to happen. I'm getting a major sense of deja vu right now. We'll see where that happens.
Yeah, it feels very familiar, doesn't it? But end of the day, it all comes down to the execute, and I think Regents have plenty of time to make it a good one. But the C4 from Lexi, no reaction in time to break it. And now you've lost out on a couple more players. This script might be flipped just a little bit in comparison to our previous round. 20 seconds remaining. And Regents, they're not in the position where they need to be to plant, and Fruit Bowl goes down, so it's just a 1v3 for John. I said it right this time, but can he do it in a 1 versus 3? He gets the smoke out of the picture, but he still has a mute and a castle to go through. Vogel, having found his first pick of the map here, will also find his second in this round. The castle doing wonders. They are able to hold this on their second try, getting them to 5 rounds.
Some nasty flicks going on by the sledge, but simply too many angles to check means that, of course, that they will go down eventually, especially with that time loss. Again, we are seeing this repeated theme of Regents taking their time with the roam, which I'll admit Northwoods has been matching pretty well. They've been holding it very tightly, especially on this map. But we are seeing that time wasting just coming more and more into play here. So we are seeing that being stretched out a little bit more each and every time, putting them in a much worse position. We are back to second floor here. Some very interesting picks. We are going the Monty, Ying, Capital, Glass. I think we're going to see a rush strat here.
Ooh, this is a very rush-centric composition. I I like it, honestly. I am interested to see if they end up swapping away from this after seeing that there is gonna be that mute, there is gonna be that Goyo. But I mean, we're back to second floor, so it'll be interesting for sure.
You've also
Obviously,
got
the
the Nook roaming, which
true.
is very notable because, especially being able to slink by the cameras on this map, especially with the Valkyrie pick going on here, is going to be very important.
Yeah, that Valkyrie pick is undermined ever so slightly by the fact that Lodi is on that Nook, and I mean, I'm always excited to see Nook. This has always been one of the most fascinating operators in the game to me. Her and Vigil just being those operators that skirt around the other team's field of vision with the whether it be the drones or the cameras. Just a very fascinating operator on both sides of the equation. I am slightly more partial to seeing Nook gameplay than Vigil, but that's just personal biases at this point.
Sure.
But they do end up sticking to this rush composition that you bring up, that you mentioned early.
Now
I
we
mean,
are
I
seeing,
like this plan.
yeah, we are seeing two C4s on the defensive side here, and a lot of hard breach utility on the attack that may not go to much use here aside from removing a castle, which it does in fact do. So this is a very delicate situation to work with, and we have to see whether or not this is going to work. I am fascinated. I am wondering how this goes.
Gone 6 to break open another castle barricade here, and now you have just a lot of basic pressure on where the Monty is standing, just holding that space, making presence known, and I think the big thing here is the fact that Thunder Valve is standing just outside the opposite window. This is about to be the execute here, so just
We are
about
about to see the strength of the
everything is
Capital
good.
come into play here. The smoke and the
Yep.
firebolts denying all the entrances that it needs
Here it
to.
is. Now's the time. Plant's going down. Surely they're going to shoot out the Goyo canisters, though. They do! And that's going to stop the plant from going down. The burning, the flames will prevent the plant initially, but the Ying will grab it and get the plant down. The shutdown onto the roaming Nook is in, but it's not going to be enough, it looks like. Regents with... I want to say at this point that it's been a successful rush, but technically it's not over yet. It feels over because there's still several extremely difficult to get through operators here, especially this Glass. And you aren't going to be able to get through Sly. Will close it out, and we are once again tied, this time at 5 rounds apiece.
Goodness gracious. I mean, just there, we are seeing the strength of some of these rush plants because, especially for an operator like Goyo, unless you stack those up on the same door, which is a very risky strategy, you are forced to hold the time yourself. And with that glass pick, of course, stopping all of those long angles that could potentially be held, sorry, we're seeing how everything can come together like that. You're moving back to Ventilation Workshop here with a Thermite pick, which I find interesting, as
Oh.
there are no exterior walls here. However, if they do get into bathroom and are able to breach those interior exterior walls, for lack of a better term, site walls, it will open up a fair amount of space here, which I'd like to see work for them.
Vulcan's ready. Shoot it if you need it.
That would be an interesting angle for sure. I mean, we are seeing once again, Northwood put a lot of effort into defending up top here with the a lot of the utility put into lockers, armory lockers.
We are
The
seeing another
canisters.
Scopos pick here, which I do
Yep,
find
that too.
interesting because it's just being able to hold those two spots at once, is just what makes her such a strong operator.
Attackers are heading
You're
out
seeing
to
almost
defuse
a
the bomb.
complete roaming on the Northwood
Yep.
side here.
And it is, as you say, eventually the side of Regents, they're going to swap away from that the thermite that they had initially hovered over onto another composition centered around this Ying. I like bringing this operator along just to be able to clear out a lot of these players up top. Obviously, there is no warden, so not going to be a problem for them.
The striker they have brought was, if I remember correctly, flash grenades and impacting MPs. A very odd combination, not one that you usually see.
Yeah, not typical, but an interesting combination for sure. Potent, definitely. What is that spot? I did not know you could stand on the shelf and see up through that hatch. That's kind of gross.
I might be pulling that one out some game.
I might need to check that one in a ranked game in the near future, but that's a interesting spot, and it kind of speaks to the creativity of these teams to just be able to find these spots, these unconventional areas. Oh my goodness, what a shot on the lightning blade Lodi. I mean, we haven't talked too much about Lodi this map, but 11 kills is nothing to scoff at. This striker out of the picture too, though, makes it a whole lot more difficult. And John waking up a little bit here, up to 8 after starting the first half in a very rough manner, bringing it all the way back. And I mean, this team is just playing so well on the offense right now. Lodi with another pick onto Vogel. And I mean, Northwood, it kind of feels like they're running out of answers here. It's just a Maluzi and a Legion remaining on
Lodi has
this
been
defense.
very strong throughout this entire match, really, just because of the long angles they're able to hold, the space they're able to take. We're seeing the strength of this player really come out in these matches here.
Barricade gonna be broken open, but let's see. Lemonhead able to stall it out with the use of the Goyo canister for
Now,
at
they
least
do
a
only
little
last
bit
20
longer.
seconds, which means there is a window to be able to plant. So we
Yep.
will see that happen.
That's unfortunate. You know, sometimes you misthrow your Candela and it just goes poorly. But oh, the plant attempt! It does get shut down. Only 3 seconds left. Do they have the time? They have the defuse. They have the attempts, and they don't. And they're not able to shoot the foot this time. I think that the foot was peeking out, but the Ying's still up top, able to save the diffuser's life. And just like that, Regents have put themselves on another match point. They are going to take a timeout here just to talk this one over a little bit. And I don't know about taking a timeout here. Typically, you do it to interrupt an opponent's momentum or, you know, something of that nature. But it's here in your match point round. I guess that their coach could potentially have something on like planned for a final round here. I'm not even sure if they have a coach.
Now, that last round, as I mentioned, those Goyos only last 20 seconds. So popping it at 30 seconds gives them that window in order to plant, and we see how that is able to hurt the team if not done properly. One moment.
All right, back into it. for potentially the final round of tonight's match here between Northwood and Regents. Looks like we're gonna be going back to the second floor. I think this is a good choice from Northwood. They are kind of expecting them to bring along that rush composition, but we're seeing a Mozzie come out from the side of Northwood. Rude Awakening onto a rather unconventional operator, one that I am personally a massive fan of. I gotta say, I love Mozzie. I'm a big fan, but
He's a good pick, I gotta say.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure about it. I love the character, but it's just it feels like a weird time to be pulling him out.
A lot of soft breach on Regents. Well, no, I take it back. Right as I say that, they're swapping off.
Uh-oh.
Going to Monty.
Oh, they're doing the thing again.
Capital. Oh, are we seeing another rush strat again?
Oh, they're doing the thing again. They're doing... Guys, they're doing it again. They're running it back. Two times. It'll work again, guys.
Yeah, Ozzy and the mute here to deny information and the Goyo in order to delay the plant just that little bit further. So we'll see how this pans out.
But I mean, this is the exact same composition that Regents made such a dominant round win happen on earlier, except for the fact that Lodi this time, instead of the Nook to roam, we're seeing the Lion just to throw another wrench into the plans of Northwood, obviously knowing exactly where everybody on the enemy team is as soon as the engage happens is going to be very strong. But I mean, there's just so much utility already being completely wasted. This Ying has destroyed a proximity alarm. It's destroyed a Goyo canister. Just so much no longer available for the side of Northwood to use. And
let's see, while the utility may be gone, they do have 2 players currently holding, or 3 players currently holding top floor and being able to easily rotate using the metal stairs there. However, the rush plant they might try to work. Monty sustaining a lot of damage there. I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off this time around.
Ooh, they've lost out on the glass potentially. Yep, does get shut down in the end of it, but it's still a 4 versus 4. Losing out on the glass does mean that you can't throw down those smokes and peer through them, which makes getting the initial plant a little bit harder. But I mean, you still have the Monty, and you're still able to get through into security, which I think is it's a very different angle from the last time they were doing a strategy like this, and I'm not sure how much I like it. But they do find Zeno. How do they do that? They just managed to pick the Goyo out amongst the cracks, digging through and finding that one. But John is the next victim to fall in this round. Lightning Blade continuing an MVP level performance here. 14 kills now. Looking so solid.
A few seconds left in the round, rushing into sight. Thunderveil does find the pick. All that's just have a Doc here, trying to hold it down all on his own. We'll see how this goes. That is the map. Alright. Well done for Regents for winning that map again, which does mean that is, in fact, the game, I believe. We have lost the other commentator, who I'm forgetting the name of immediately. Man, I am so good at remembering things. Gedster. Yes, I love being able to think and remember things. Such fun. But no, that was a very... Yeah. Well, some very good showings for today. Overall, very proud of both teams. Some great stuff, some good learning moments. And we can now reflect on that as we now go to our break. Thank you for watching.
want to treat don't care tree market. Go to them. I don't want you to know them upcoming new artists. Go to watch out. What watch out? Them stink like my money. By the way, I don't want you no knife. I only want you the river.
Star 6 broadcast. In case you missed it, it's over. Regents was able to take it in 2 maps. I did miss it because my internet cut right as the final rounds execute started. I'm a little bit sad about that, but I'm back now, and joining me and here on the broadcast is Lodi. How you doing, man?
Doing good, doing very good.
Excellent. Love to hear it. Congrats again on the
Thank you.
W today. We do have a couple questions for you before we let you guys go. But my first big question is obviously the opening map of Night Haven Labs was your guys' pick, and you guys looked like an immovable object on the defense. You literally did not drop a round, and I can definitely see why that ended up being your pick. It definitely looks like it had been practiced, but the border is the one map that I wanted to ask a little bit more about, because obviously that was Northwood's pick. So what was your guys' approach going into a map that they were more comfortable on?
So Border is a map that we've also worked on quite a bit. So we were fairly confident going into it. Actually kind of glad that was the map that they picked. We kind of were expecting to go like half and half on the defense. That's kind of like the quota that we wanted. That's exactly what we did. And then the attack, we realized that like the stuff that we were kind of doing, the slow play, wasn't really like working in our favor. So we just kind of started hitting it a lot quicker, changing up the pace, and kind of just going at them, which is why then we ended up closing out 7-5.
Very nice.
All right. So you mentioned that briefly, being able to swap playstyles like that, because during the first map, I noticed that a lot you tended to spend your time on the roam, clearing it out carefully, and then executing in that like final 30 seconds. But Border, you definitely swapped it up a little bit more, playing more aggressive in some parts, playing more defensive in others. What's the general strategy that you would say is behind that?
So for labs is a bigger map, so it takes a little bit more time for us to actually like work through it. Where the entire round is us setting up for the last like 30 seconds, right? For border, it's more of just kind of like guns out, swing or be swung type thing. So we're all just kind of gunning, running, honestly just at them at certain points. And that's especially why we started bringing out the rushes as well. Just kind of hitting site fast, going for the guns, and just changing up the pace, kind of throwing them off basically.
Sure, fun. So part of your executes, a lot of the time we're taking vertical play, either from below or from above. You specifically on Border spent a lot of time on Ram, clearing out the top space, taking that area. What would you say is really the key in order to take that vertical space and make those plays?
Definitely the intel. We had a lot of preset drones, things like that, and that allowed us to enter the building a lot quicker than what we normally would have been if just face checking. And that also allowed for kind of free like backstabs and early like kills. There was a lot of rounds where somebody's just looking the wrong way and gets shot in the side of the head from somebody entering like top east compared to whatever. And then as we then take that control, the vertical play just puts an immense amount of pressure on them, and then allows us to actually go for what we want.
For sure.
Very
for
interesting.
Sure. Now, my question for you, and the last question that the two of us have, is in regards to the game's newest operator. Obviously, we just got Denari in the recent operation update, high stakes, and he is a very interesting op for sure. Didn't see a ton of him on board. I think we saw him for one round, but you guys were using him quite a bit to lock down E-Box in particular on Night Haven Labs. Walk me through the mentality you guys have when like a new operator like Denari comes out, and then maybe like a little bit specifically about this operator.
So our Denari play was definitely very like prominent on labs, which I could even give it to the Denari player. But The idea is to kind of isolate and honestly just separate their push and slow them down until it's all part of the whole like big idea. Um, the laser work very well for slowing down, denial, all like the whole thing that you need. And so he's kind of like multiple operators in one, as well as having a really good weapon set. So incorporating him into strategies and into our actual play, we wanted to do that as soon as possible, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, it worked extremely well. And I mean, you guys ended up taking both maps without needing overtime either time. So once again, congratulations to you guys for being able to close that one out. And before we say goodnight to the stream, is there anybody you would like to shout out? Any socials you'd like to plug or anything like that?
Me personally, no, but I guess I want to thank like the Regents department. We have excellent directors here, a lot of people helping us, and obviously all my guys from my team, Coach Gambo over